Good morning. We're obviously living through some pretty tough times at present, but I do feel that this lockdown process has created some advantages, and I'm going to mention a couple of these. First of all, we have had some increased family time. We've got 4 boys, and although our eldest is living and furloughed up in Bristol, our 3 other ones are here and certainly making their presence felt. But I've enjoyed their company. We've had perhaps more chance to sit down at meal times. We've gone for walks together, watched a bit of TV together, though our ideas on what's a family film don't always agree. They've enjoyed a bit of space outside to play back garden cricket and ping pong, and a bit of basketball and so on. There are, of course, some flashpoints. LBWs do cause problems, and I feel a bit daunted having to step in front of my number 2 son, who's 6'3" and 17 stone. But in the main, it's been great having him around. They've been good company and been helpful. The second thing is, and this has been spoken a lot, especially on social media and TV, is that it's given us a chance to do something new. And I heard on the grapevine that Miss Gilmore, whom some of you know, is learning to play the flute. I'm afraid I'm very unmusical, and that wasn't that tempting. And besides, I wouldn't impose on my family the inevitable speeches that would come out from me learning a new instrument. Something inside me made me think, let's write a poem. I don't know why. Perhaps trying to impress the English department, I don't know. But the last time I wrote a poem, I was about 12. Funny enough, I can remember that poem, and it went like this. There was a young chap called Paul who grew so amazingly tall. While lying in bed, he could stretch out his leg and turn off the light in the hall. Boom, boom. In fact, I said I wrote that poem. I claimed it was my poem, but in fact I lifted it from a comic or a magazine or something. Don't think the teacher found out, but I think it didn't get a high mark. In fact, it was only a D. Anyway, Mrs. Thomas and I were going for a walk along the canal when it was a really beautiful day, probably just over Easter, when we had that nice spell of beautiful, beautiful weather. The sky was a beautiful blue. It was very clear, bright blue, and as someone said on the TV, even the clouds were social distancing. The trees were full of bloom. There's lovely pink colours that we see on the North Field. Lots of white blossom, and lots of bulbs. Flowers of bulbs were shooting up. And you saw daffodils and tulips and bluebells. It looked absolutely beautiful. You saw swans paddling gracefully on the canal. Saw a moorhen beavering away, getting reeds for his or her nest. And we saw this mother duck had 9 gorgeous little ducklings, and they were swimming, and the ducks were swimming, and they were all in line, like a really behaved ski lesson. They weren't going down along the canal. They were just in their long line like a snake. Those ducklings were fluffy, and they were so cute. They were gorgeous. Anyway, on the way home, it just struck me that if Mrs. Thomas and I just put a hand on a fence post or a gate or a railing and pick up a speck which I don't know, might have contained the virus, what a contrast to all that beauty and all that life and energy within nature. So with that contrast in mind, I thought I would try and write a few words, but the words trickled very reluctantly from up here down to my pen. But I try something out, and this is it. Nature, blissfully unaware, leaps into spring. The glorious, persistent sun aims to improve the mood. A bouquet of colours jump out of their rested bulbs, yet mankind is gripped by the hands of this relentless foe. Early morning hopes are raised as birds tune in. Maternal ducks proudly control their brood. New life enjoying the freshest of air, enjoying each gulp. The humans under fire from an enemy we hardly know. taller days, nor the chance to get out and breathe. The fertile land denied the help of a plough and man's care. Lively towns and parks totally out of bounds. Opportunities blighted by the terror impossible to see. Silent sands ignored by people, forced not to leave their former castle, now a prison not easy to bear. All clamped and chained to their home and grounds, totally dominated and controlled, life brought down to the knee. Possibly I'm heading for another D there, but I'm just glad I tried it and try something new. As ever, give things your best shot. Have a lovely day.